And we are live. This is UFC Bro Picks. We're going to be breaking UFC Fight Night 118, Cerrone versus Till. This is Ricky.
What's up, guys? This is Justin. We are back. We haven't been, breaking down fights in 2 weeks. It feels like it's been a lot longer, but little recap, our last card. It's a pretty good card, man. I had a winning night, plus 7.35 units. Cody Stamann came through. Who else did I bet last card? Oh, I bet on Dunham, but then, it was a push. And I also bet on Ferguson in the distance. So it was a good night. I needed that. And, yeah, man, I'm ready to do good in this card. How did you do?
I did all right. I did a 3-unit bet on Tony Ferguson that cashed. I did a bet on Stamann as well that cashed. And I lost my parlay with Tavares versus Bibulutov. Bibulutov got knocked out. I don't know what the fuck happened. I definitely didn't see that one coming. That's what I get for being greedy and parlaying a fucking big ass favorite on the dog on a close fight with Tavares. I should have just played that one straight.
That chalk.
I should have just played Tavares straight, thinking about it, but whatever.
Everybody played him, man. So it's it's all good.
Learned my lesson about that, and but overall I went plus 0.5 units. So
it's positive, man. It's all that matters.
I'll take it, but I still need to pick my game up because I've been doing pretty bad recently. So yeah,
we both have, man. We both have. So, all right, man. Let's get right in this card. We're gonna start off with Felipe Arantes versus Josh Emmett. And this is at featherweight, by the way. So Josh Emmett is dropping down the featherweight. I'm kind of surprised because Emmett's a pretty big lightweight. He's pretty stocky. I know he's short, but he's pretty muscular, man. And I don't know how his cardio is gonna do down there. I mean, he's gassed out in both of his fights or in all of his fights in the UFC in the third round. And I mean, I do think he's going to win this fight, but it's super close in my opinion. I'm gonna have to pass from a betting perspective. Felipe Arantes, he doesn't have the best fight IQ, but he does have a good ground game. I think he does have the better jiu-jitsu here. So if Josh Emmett takes him down, he's gonna have to beware of that ground game. But I think Josh Emmett could dance on the feet and pick him apart, use that good footwork that he has that he used against John Tuck, and win a pretty close decision. But, Josh Emmett's a huge favorite here. I don't blame you guys taking him the shot on Arantes because I do think he's live. But I'll be going with the favorite here. I'll be picking Josh Emmett, but you won't see me betting him or having him on my DraftKings teams. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Emmett's going down to 145, I think, right? And good cut for him. Maybe I hope he's doing it right. I hope he's just losing weight the right way because he's kind of short for that division for 155. So we'll see how he does with the 145ers. Do it the right way, I think it'll be good, man. But I think he should be able to beat Arantes pretty easily. But who knows? Anything can happen in MMA. I think that overhand right's going to be there for him. I think he's going to have the size advantage. So if he wants to wrestle, he can too. He can probably out-grapple him if he wants to. I just don't like the line. I was eyeing him before the lines came out, but then he's such a favorite that I can't play that. Especially I don't know, because Felipe Arantes still can do something, but I do think Emmett should beat him anywhere the fight goes. Overhand right's there for him. He somehow manages to land that, and I think the grappling's there for him too. Emmett.
All right, man. Call the next one.
Next fight, we got is it the girl fight?
Yeah.
All right. Because mine is kind of different than yours. All right, it's Alina Landsberg, who's 7-2. She's Aspen Lad, who is 5-0. And to be honest, guys, you guys can't who's gonna win this fight, but I'm gonna have to go with probably Aspen Ladd just because the better. I don't even know, man. I'm gonna have to pass on this pick, dude, because it's just a straight up guess. But yeah. Who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, I'm gonna be going with Aspinall here. You know, she's the favorite, rightfully so. I do think that she has enough to, to beat Lena Landsberg. You know, Lena Landsberg did not look that good last fight. I do think she lost. I don't think she won that fight. And she's a tough girl, but she gets hit a lot. And Aspinall was supposed to make her debut against Jessica Eye. She pulled out, I think, the day of the weigh-in. But this chick's pretty impressive, man. So I didn't watch that much tape because it's a girl fight, and I don't really care about it. But I do think that Aspinall has the better all-around game, and I do see her getting in the victory. But, yeah, don't tell me. All right, next fight we got Warley Alves versus Salim Touahri. It was supposed to be Alves versus Jim Wallhead. Warley Alves, he's a big favorite, and, rightfully so. I do think he's going to win this fight, probably by a first-round guillotine like he always does. But Warley Alves is a fade, in my opinion. I'm looking to fade him. I don't think he's that good. I know he's beaten some good guys in Talib and Colby, but, I mean, he gasses bad. And if you have good cardio like Barberina, I mean, you're going to beat him. So I was looking to fade Warley Alves if they put him against like Bilal, or someone that wanted to take it on short notice. But, this guy, he's making his debut. I think he's 10-1. He does have a really good left hook, though. So, I mean, Warley has to watch out because he gets hurt in his fights, too. But, I do think that Warley's going to go out there and get that first-round guillotine, so like he always does. So I got Alves, and I do actually like Warley for DraftKings, but I'm passing for a betting perspective. What about you?
Yeah, you pretty much said everything. This guy's kind of coming in on a short notice. Warley he desperately needs a win. If you ask me, I mean, he's coming off of 2 losses. Brian Barberina, it's probably a loss that he shouldn't have lost, but like you said, he gassed and Barberina stuck it to him, and he's no slouch, So I think Warley needs a win big time, and the UFC, I think, is kind of giving him that kind of that winnable fight for him. So like you said, I think he's just going to be a little bit more technical, a little bit more skilled. So Warley with the sub. All right, man. Next fight, it's going to be Artem Lobov versus Andre Fili. And to be honest, man, I'm not impressed with Fili at all recently. I think he's been, he has a lot of potential. He has a lot of skill, but I don't know what it is, man. But he just doesn't seem to put it together. He hasn't been seen to put it together recently. He looked pretty good against Yair, but I don't know, man. I just haven't been too impressed with him recently. He got brutally knocked out against Yair, and that happened. And I mean, his last loss against Calvin Kattar was he lost against a guy like a short notice, right? With making his UFC debut. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Artem Lobov, man, because I think he's gonna want it more, and I don't think his striking that far off. I think he's got pretty good striking. He was able to outstrike Tarutu, pretty badly. He kind of outclassed him, So I think if he looks like that, if he puts on that kind of performance against Fili, he can go and win this thing, man. And to be honest, I think he has a good shot. I think he wants it more than Fili, harder than him, and I think he's going to be able to hurt him, and win those rounds. So I'm going to go with Artem, and I got a 1-unit bet on him at plus 140.
Yeah, man, I'm going to have to agree with you, man. I do think Artem's going to win the fight. I think it's close. I'm going to pass from a betting perspective, but, I do think he's going to win. Yeah, man, Andre Fili, man, is just, he's not that impressive. I mean, he had a lot of hype. He's looked good, but recently he hasn't looked good. And, Calvin Kattar is no slouch, but, I mean, he lost to a dude on short notice. I mean, like a week in advance, something like that. And also, Fili gets hit a lot, and, he has decent wrestling. He doesn't use it that much, though. But I do think Artem's a better striker. I do think Artem has a better chin. I think he has more power on the feet. And honestly, man, like Andre Fili, just like you already mentioned, man, like he hasn't looked good recently. And I like, man, what Artem's, and Artem went 5 rounds with Cub Swanson. And I know we joked about that a couple of weeks ago, but I mean, it's still pretty impressive. It's not like Cub dominated him for 5 rounds. I mean, Artem made it close. And another thing too, Fili, he got a lot of hype after you beat Hacker and Diaz. Who's Hacker and Diaz? He's a jobber, bro. Hacker and Diaz sucks. But we're talking about that next week, by the way. But yeah, man. So I got Artem. I got Artem too. But it's gonna be a pass though. But I hope you win. And I do think he's gonna cash. So next fight, we got Smiling Sam Alvey versus the Russian Razan Emeev. Now this is a fight that's on short notice. It's supposed to be Trevor Smith versus Emeev. I do think that was a way easier fight for the Russian, but Sam Alvey, I mean, yeah, man, he has a winning record in the UFC. He has power, man. He has good takedown defense. He has a good chin, but I just don't think he's that impressive, man. Like, I mean, I don't know if he's getting older or what, but I mean, he just doesn't do anything, man. Like these last couple of fights, he just stands there. I mean, I know a lot of people want to make fun of Elias, for that fight, but I mean, Elias just took him out of his game, dude. I mean, Sam didn't do anything in that fight, man. And this Russian looks pretty good. Good stand-up. I do think, he has the better wrestling, and I don't know if he's going to be able to take Sam Alvey down, but I think he can do what, most people do against Sam Alvey and, pick him apart and just dance and, just pick him apart. I mean, what's Sam Alvey going to do? He's a counter striker. He never even throws. So, I mean, I like Sam Alvey, I know he's in, UFC betting sharks. I respect him. I think he's, he was a good fighter. But I mean, now I think he's on his, on his way out, and I just don't think he wants it anymore, man. I mean, he hasn't been fighting like the guy he used to fight. He used to be like, that first round knockout guy. He wanted it, but now he just like doesn't do anything, man. So I'm gonna have to go with the Russian, but I'm gonna pass because there's a couple more. I'm more confident in my other place, but yeah, I think the Russian's gonna win. What about you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I got the Russian, and it's like you said, Sam Alvey just hasn't been looking like himself recently. He's still a good fighter. I disagree with that, but I do think he's not what he used to be. He has had some impressive knockouts, but maybe he's starting to rely on that counter strike too much, and it's just not coming anymore. And that's like all he has now. So it doesn't seem like he's like good at like he's trying to expand his game or anything. He doesn't really go for takedowns. So I mean, he's kind of staying where he's at, and other people are passing him up. And I mean, he's going to go against the fucking Sambo world champion. Like he's gonna knock him out, or else that world champion's gonna put it to him. And I think that he's gonna beat him just by the volume. And because Sam Alvey does, I mean, he went to a split decision with Rashad Evans. Are you kidding me? That was like one of the most boring fights ever. It's so hard to watch tape for that. Sorry, like with all due respect for both of those fighters, but I mean, it was just very, very hard to watch. And I think maybe Sam Alvey's timing's not as good as it used to be or something, but those knockouts aren't happening anymore. And he relies on that KO too much. I'm going to have to go with the Russian. It's 140, 1.4 unit bet to win 1 unit.
Yeah, I mean, who those knockouts, going against? I mean, they're going against Kevin Casey and guys that like are not even in the UFC anymore. The biggest
it was a long time ago.
There. I mean, he had that nice, standing guillotine versus Eric Spicely. That was impressive for sure. But I mean, I don't think he's going to do that here.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though.
But
all right, man. Call the next one.
Yeah, I'm going to call it. So next fight, we got Brian Kelleher, 17-8 versus Damian Stasiak. I think we were just talking about. Give me a second. I think we were just talking about Kelleher. No, we weren't. He just got subbed by. He got subbed by Marlon Vera. Pretty impressive. I think he caught him in like a Kimura lock, and then he armbar from that. He's going to be fighting Damian Stasiak. I haven't done much tape on this one as much as I should have, but I'm probably going to have to go with Stasiak, man. I think he put it to him and Munoz had a good fight, man, and I was pretty impressed with that one. So I'm going to have to go with Stasiak. What about you?
Yeah, me too, man. I don't think Keller is that good in my opinion. And I mean, Webster, man, I mean, he put on a pretty decent fight against Pedro. I mean, Pedro did not look like a minus 700 there. He looked like a minus 150. I mean, Damian actually won a round, and it was a pretty close fight. His striking looked a lot more improved. And, I mean, I can't wait to talk about Pedro Munoz versus Rob Font next week. But, yeah, man, I'm going to have to go with Damian. But, yeah, I'm going to pass from this fight. All right, next fight, we got Anthony Bumbleton versus Adam Wieczorek. Now, this, in my opinion, is, a fight that you just can't, you cannot pass this opportunity up. So I took the 2-unit shot on Adam at plus 110, and Bumbleton shouldn't be fighting anymore. I mean, I messed up not betting Daniel Spitz last fight. I picked Spitz. I was going to bet him. People, gave me crap, and, I just talked my way out of it, and I didn't do it, man. I mean, look what happened, dude. Spitz knocked him out in 10 seconds. Before that, a light heavyweight. A light heavyweight knocked out Anthony Hamilton. This guy's been knocked out 4 times, sub 3 times. I mean, he retired and he just came back like a week ago. This guy got knocked out like 3 weeks ago. And this Adam guy, man, I don't think he's that bad, man. I actually think he might be able to win like some decent fights in the UFC. I mean, he's long, he's a big dude, and he throws bombs in the feet. He has a good ground game too. If he gets on top, it's all over. But I don't think he's going to take Bumbleton down. I think he's going to land one overhand right, and it's going to be all she wrote. So Bumbleton, he likes to run at you, man. He likes to just bum rush you, and that's not going to work here. And a little MMA math here that I figured out too is that Francis Ngannou, his only loss is actually against a guy that Adam Wieczorek beat. I think it was either 1 or 2 fights ago. So that's pretty impressive that he beat a dude that Francis Ngannou lost to. That's Francis' only loss too. But, yeah, man, I don't think this guy's bad. A lot of people are saying, yeah, he's going to beat Bumbleton, but he's a jobber. I don't think this Adam kid's that bad. He has 1 loss against Marcin Tybura. I mean, and he didn't even get finished. I mean, he lost the decision. Marcin Tybura is one of the best guys in the division at heavyweight. So, yeah, man, I'm confident in this pick, dude. Bumbleton's a fade against anybody. And I think Adam's going to go out there and get a first-round knockout in like 20 seconds. So, yeah, I got Adam. What about you?
I'm going to have to agree with you. Looking into this guy, he is pretty impressive. I mean, he has fought some pretty good guys. And, Anthony Hamilton, I don't know what he's doing fighting again after being knocked out twice in a row. He just got knocked out again, and he's fighting in 3 weeks. I definitely see the fade in this one. It's very tempting to fade him on as well. Yeah, man, he's just been knocked out too many times and too soon. I don't know what he's doing fighting right now, so I'm going to have to go with next fight. We got Marcin Held versus Nasrat Haqparast, whatever the fuck, Haqparast, and Nasrat Haqparast. So he's fighting a well-known quitter in Marcin Held, and his striking looks good. He's got good grappling, but at the end of the day, this fool quits, man, and you can't trust that guy. He was doing good his last fight. I thought it was a close fight, and then out of nowhere, he goes for he dies for the knee, and unless you're Ryan Hall or like some like Gordon Ryan, I don't think these leg locks are really going to work, man. Like, they're very risky. I mean, sometimes they work, but you're not going to get it when you're just diving for them desperately like that, Any guy that's got good posture or good wrestling is going to hide his legs and, cross face you, and he's going to flatten you out, and you're not going to be able to go like inverted and shit like that. He's just going to flatten you out, smash you, and fucking ground and pound you. And so I don't think I don't know. And this guy Nasrat has some really good wrestling and some really good boxing. So I do think that if he hides his legs, I do see him triangling him when he's like in half guard when people are going for him. So that's kind of a good sign. I'm pretty sure they're training leg locks. But I've said in the past, leg lockers are not that hard to train for because, I mean, that's what they're going to do. So you just train leg locks and just I mean, unless these guys are like Dan and her death squad guys, I don't think that they're going to be anything really like, so I do think Nasrat's going to be able to hold up against it. And yeah, man, I got to bet on Nasrat 1 unit for 5. What about you?
Yeah, man, I got 2 units on Nasrat at plus 285. I jumped the gun a little bit. I didn't think he was going to go to 350, but I'm really confident in this pick, man. I don't agree with your with what you said about Held having good striking. I think Held does not have good striking. I don't think he's good in the feet at all. I mean, the kid gasses out too. The only good thing about him, I think is, he has a decent ground game, but that's about it, I mean, he's a quitter, bro. He's 0-3. And, a lot of people are saying, oh, he beat Joe Lozon. That was a super close fight. And I don't think he beat Joe Lozon, man. I mean, obviously on the scorecards he lost, but I rewatched it today, and I actually do think that Joe beat him, man. I beat him. And if you lose to Diego Sanchez, bro, I mean, in the past couple of years, I mean, that's a huge red flag. Diego Sanchez is terrible, dude. I mean, come on, really? I mean, Diego's a beast. I mean, he used to be really good, but if you lose to him, that's a huge red flag. And his last fight against, Demir, I cashed that, by the way. Did you bet him or no? You didn't bet Demir. No, I think I bet him at like plus 265. And let me break down that fight real quick. So, Hell, I think, won the first 2 rounds, but it was super close. I mean, Demir was lighting him up, was smoking him on the feet, and then Demir goes for a head, he slips, he goes for a head kick, falls, and then Hell just lays on top of him. In the 3rd round, Hell wants to get cocky and goes out there and goes for like a Unari roll, whatever that is, and then freaking just gets knocked the hell out, So I think he's a quitter. I think he has a bad gas tank. I think he's chinny. I don't think he's a good stand-up. He had terrible fight IQ. And you got to fade him, man. And I checked this Nasrat kid out a couple weeks ago, and this kid actually is pretty good, man. He's kind of built like Kelvin Gastelum, kind of looks like Kelvin Gastelum, He's 7-1. He lost his first fight a long time ago. He's on a 7-fight win streak, trains at TriStar and Kings MMA. He has good stand-up. He's a good wrestler, man. I think he can take Marcin Held down, stay out of, trouble. So I actually think he's going to finish Marcin Held. I think he can knock him on the feet, or he can take him down ground and pound, because Marcin's a quitter, bro. I mean, come on. If he gets on top of him, dude, I think he's going to land some devastating elbows, and it's all over for Marcin Held. So Marcin Held just got knocked out bad a couple months ago. So now he's coming back because, he's fighting at home, He probably wants to come and, support his family and, fight one more time. But, I think he's going to retire after this. So I got Nasrat all day. All right, next fight. This is a very intriguing matchup, actually, in my opinion. We got Oscar Piechota versus Jonathan Wilson. Now, Johnny Bravo, he trains with Lorenz Larkin. He lives about 10, 15 minutes away from me. They both train him Wendy MMA. And I actually wanted to bet him really bad. But, I'm going to pass him this fight. I'm going to have him on DraftKings. I do think he's going to win this fight, though. He's making his middleweight debut. He's 1-2 in the UFC. I know he lost to Frankenstein. That's one reason why I passed him this fight. Frankenstein's pretty terrible. But, Frankenstein, it was a brawl. It was a back-and-forth fight. And then, he got Frankenstein down. Frankenstein swept him, and, that's all she wrote. Frankenstein got on top and, landed some devastating elbows, and, Johnny Bravo quit. And then he went on a 4-fight losing streak and almost knocked out Gokhan Saki. And I don't think Saki's good at all. We'll talk about that in a couple months. But, I mean, he's about to get smoked against Rountree. But, yeah, man. So, Oscar Piechota, this kid, he's fought a lot of bums. I do think Johnny Bravo's fought in better competition. Frankenstein will beat all those bums Oscar has fought. He's good ground game too. But, who knows about the weight cut? Johnny Bravo's going to 185. It looks like a tough cut for him too. He's a big kid. And, yeah, man, he lost to Ion last fight, 30-27. He had a couple moments in there, but he doesn't throw that much either. I do think he can win this fight, though. I mean, I'm picking him to win. I think he's going to go out there and, put up a close fight against Oscar. But, I mean, I just can't bet him because I'm more confident, in my last bet. But, yeah, man, I'm going to have to go Johnny Bravo. I think he has more experience, and I think he's going to edge this one out. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, man. I'm going to go with Jonathan Wilson. He's got the UFC experience, and he did lose to that guy, but De Silva. But I mean, it was a sweep. I think he was doing good beforehand, and I don't know, man. I just don't know much about this Oscar guy, so I'm going to have to go with the guy with the UFC experience. So Jonathan Wilson for the win. All right, next fight, it's the guy who can't defend a takedown, Jan Blachowicz, Clark. And I have to go with Devin Clark on this one, man. It's just basically because John Black is a one-dimensional fighter, man, and he can't defend a fucking takedown. So it's very easy you just got to wait for him to do one of his kicks, and you just go for a takedown or whatever. I mean, he sucks, man. Bottom line, and it's easy to plan against him. And I think that Devin Clark just has to drill takedowns, and he can get the win. Devin Clark, just because Jan Blachowicz doesn't know how to sprawl.
Yeah, I was actually, looking to actually fade Jan here and, bet Devin Clark. But, the more tape I watch, I'm going to pass. I do think Devin Clark's going to win, but he's a little too green for me. He's a little chinny out there. I mean, he might do some dumb shit and, not try to wrestle and get knocked out. So, I mean, who knows? Alex Nicholson knocked him out with a weird-ass punch. I mean, that was like, I feel like he didn't even – Alex Nicholson didn't even throw anything. It was like a short punch and knocked him out, And, Jan will definitely be the better striker for like 3 or 4 minutes until he gasses out. And, Jan has terrible fight IQ. If Jan looks roided, though, like the gills, like if he looks shredded out there, he's going to win this fight for sure. But, yeah, man, I don't trust him. And I don't trust Devin Clark, dude. I don't think Devin Clark is that good. I mean, I do think he has the wrestling to win this fight. But I'm just not confident, dude, in betting on him. So, yeah, I got Clark. But, yeah, I'm passing. Next fight, we're going to do this breakdown super fast. We got KK versus Jody Esquibel. Yeah, I got KK. I didn't, do that much tape in this fight. I think Jody's kind of a jobber, from Invicta. But, I think I'm off the KK train. I mean, she really hurt me last fight against Claudia. And I know it was against Claudia, but look what Andrade just did to Claudia. So, yeah, I mean, I like KK. I don't think she beat Rose, by the way. I do think Rose won that fight. I don't care what anyone says. That was a super close fight. But, yeah, man, I'm going to have to go with KK here. But, yeah, I'm passing. What about you?
KK as well, but it's like you said. I mean, we're betting the best. I mean, you can't bet the biggest favorite in the card, and like she showed some pretty big holes against Claudia. I mean, right, Claudia Gadella. So yeah, her grappling was very bad against this. So, but I'm still gonna have to go with Carolina just because she's pretty much elite. It's like a number 5 fighter against a number 43. Carolina is just gonna be able to light her up on feet. So I'm going to have to go KK. All right, next fight, man. We got the main event. Donald Cowboy Cerrone. He's going to be fighting Darren Till. Cerrone, he's just coming off of a pretty controversial loss to Robbie Lawler. And before that, he's had a, head kick Matt Brown, and he's pretty much fought the who's who in the UFC in the 155 division and now the 170 division. I don't know, man. I just think he's fought with the best. The only time he loses is when it's against like a champion or like an ex-champ guy. I don't think Darren Till is there yet. I do think he shows a lot of potential, but I think this is too soon for him right now. He should have finished these guys, man. Jesse Ryan sucks. Bojan was like not even fighting his game. So I don't know, man. I think Darren Till has a lot of potential, but he's still kind of a one-dimensional Muay Thai fighter, and he has a pretty wide stance. I don't know, man. I think Cowboy has more tools. He's got the head kick. He's got kicks. He's got elbows. Their striking's fairly close, and I will give the grappling advantage to Cowboy hands down. So I think Cowboy mixes up the takedowns very well. So I think they're going to get caught up in a striking exchange, and Cowboy's going to shoot in. Let's see it coming. So, like I said, man, if Cowboy's smart, mix it up and go for takedowns. If he wants to do a close fight, he can strike with Darren Till, but I don't think he's going to go that route. I think he's going to go the path of least resistance, like he did with fucking Cowboy. I think it's going to be pretty similar to that one. I don't know, man. Darren Till, I just haven't seen much of his grappling. Dalby kind of fucking wrecked him on the mat. So I do think he needs to work on some of that grappling. Maybe come to a gym over here in the U.S., where it gets fucking legit. So yeah, man, I'm gonna have to go with Cowboy, dude. I just think it's too much too soon. Told you once, told you twice. There's levels to this shit.
All right, man. Yeah, I got 4 units on Darren Till plus 125 to win 5 units, and we'll start out with Cowboy here. He's one of my favorite fighters, dude, of all time. I met him before, but this is the betting game, dude, and you can't bet, who you want to win. And obviously, it's a huge step up for Darren Till. Cowboy has fought the better competition for sure. He's been in there with a lot of really good guys. but I think he's on his way out. I mean, before he went on that big win streak, Matt Brown was destroying him in that fight, and then he got a lucky head kick. And go ahead.
He wasn't getting destroyed, bro.
He was
not getting
the first
destroyed.
2 rounds. He lost the first 2 rounds for sure. Matt Brown dropped him like twice. And who beats Cowboy? Southpaw fighters. And what's Darren Till? A southpaw. And Cowboy is super weak to that body. And what's Darren Till known for? His left body kick and a straight left and his elbows. And about Cowboy, one more thing. I do think Masvidal changed his life, man. I mean, Robbie Lawler is on his way out too, in my opinion. And I do think Robbie almost finished Cowboy in that first round. And it was a close fight. I do think Robbie won. But, I mean, Cowboy's a slow starter too, and Darren Till's a pretty fast starter, man. He always drops you in the first round. I know he didn't finish Ayari and Boyan, but he was facing an 18-month layoff when he fought Ayari and got a 30-27. About the Dalby fight, I mean, he destroyed Dalby in the first 2 rounds, and he tore his shoulder in the third round. I mean, come on, dude. He an 18-month layoff after that fight. I mean, obviously he hurt his shoulder, and so he did show a lot of heart in that fight too. That Dalby didn't finish him, but he couldn't do anything in that third round. He had one arm. And then, like I already mentioned about that Yari fight, he didn't finish him, 18-month layoff. He didn't finish Kowalkiewicz, but he dropped him like 3 times. I mean, that nasty elbow in that first 2 minutes of the first round was pretty impressive. Boyan has a good chin, bro. Boyan's no slouch. He's not, a beast of a fighter, but he has a very good chin. He has heart. And, Cowboy is known for a very good chin, but I don't think he has that chin anymore, man. And if Till catches him, man, it's lights out. I do think he has the better, he has the wrestling advantage. I do think he has the ground game, but I mean, is Cowboy going to get it there? I don't think so. I think Till's going to go out there and finish him in the first, second round. And when have we seen, Till on the ground, really, besides, the Dalby fight? I mean, he has good takedown defense, dude. I don't think he's going to go out there and take down, obviously, Cowboy, but he has the striking edge for sure. He has the movement. He has awkward movement on the feet. It's going to be really hard for Cowboy to find anything going for him. And, Darren Till has a good chin. And a lot of people are saying that Darren Till is, chubby and all this. I mean, Darren Till has the size advantage in this fight. He's looking shredded right now too. The cardio, if it goes in the later rounds, I'll be a little worried, because Cowboy probably has the better cardio. But I think Darren Till's going to finish him, man, the first couple rounds. So, I'm a huge Cowboy fan. I love Cowboy, but he's on his way out, man. Masvidal changed his life, and Robbie Lawler's on his way out too. And Darren Till doesn't just have a left body kick and a straight left. He has elbows. He has a lot of stuff, man. And Cowboy's weakest thing about him is liver, man. He drinks too many beers, dude. And I mean, who's hurt him in the past? I mean, guys with good nasty in southpaw, nasty left body kicks. That's Darren Till, man. So I do think Darren Till is legit. I do think Darren Till is the real deal. I don't think Darren Till is can beat Ponzi right now, because Ponzi might be one of the best strikers in the division. But, I do think he's good enough to beat Cowboy, and I do think he can beat Ponzi in the future. But I'm just a big Till fan, man. I bet him in his last 2 fights. I'm undefeated betting him, and I know it's a big step up, man. I mean, that's my only worry, big step up, and Cowboy might have the better, wrestling ground game, but Cowboy's not there anymore, man. And if this was Cowboy before the Masvidal fight, then I would be betting Till. But this is Cowboy after the Masvidal fight, so I'm gonna have to go with Darren Till. I think he goes out there and gets a finish and makes a statement. Fights Kamaru Usman next.
So Usman would fucking murk him.
Ooh, I don't know. I'll have to watch tape on that fight. That's a good fight right there, man.
Usman would murk him. Pre-tape, easy, no tape. I'll bet Usman blind.
Or if he fights Mike Perry, that'd be a pretty good fight too.
That'd be a good fight. But dude, I still don't think he's tested himself against a fucking good grappler. So.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. We'll see what happens. We already talked about our bets. Are you gonna make any more bets or no?
Maybe if the Cowboy line gets better, but right now, I do think it's pretty even. Closer to even money, I might have to. But other than that, if it doesn't, I'm not. Because I mean, I do think Till has a good shot. I just think it's too much too soon for him right now.
All right, man. What are your most confident picks of the night?
I don't know, man. Don't have many of this card. Most confident pick, shit, is probably gonna be Emeev. Probably Cerrone and Artem.
I'm gonna have to go with my 3 bets, man. You know, Till, Nasrat, and Adam. And you know, we're gonna bring a little new segment to UFC Bro Picks. We're gonna do this every card now. What is your fight to watch for this card?
You're fucking okay. It's gonna be the main event, man. It's fucking the best. It's gonna be Darren Till versus Cowboy Cerrone. You know, we got the up and comer against the veteran. So this is really the test to see if the veteran's on his way out or if he still has a few in him. We all know Cowboy's on the end of his career, but do we know if he's out yet? I don't know. He might still have a couple in him. Do we know if Darren Till is ready to step it up? I don't know. So this is why this is a fight to watch, because this is going to say a lot of things after this night, because it's going to say if Darren Till Darren Till has potential no matter what, but it's going to say a lot if Darren Till wins, and it will say a lot if Darren. It's going to say a lot if Darren Till wins. It's going to say a lot if Cowboy loses. So to me, this is a fight to watch.
Yeah, if Cowboy loses, he should retire. My fight of the night's going to be John Blachowicz versus Devin Clark. I think this is going to be a brawl, man. I think these guys are going to be throwing bombs in their feet. I don't think it's going to be ugly at all. You saw Jan's last fight against Pat Cummins. That was a straight war. And I think these guys are going to be throwing leather out there, man. So, all right, man. Before we go, any shout-outs you want to do?
No.
All right, man.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I want to do shout-outs to everyone in the EMC campaign.
That was hilarious. Yeah, man. Same shout-outs to EMC. You know, I'm really confident, man, for next week. I'm not confident. I mean, I'm confident, but I'm excited. You know, good card next week, San Paulo. We got UFC 217 the week after that. And, yeah, man, I'm excited for UFC every weekend, man. So, everybody, you know, good luck. I hope you guys cash your bets. And we'll be back next week for UFC San Paulo. I think that's a better card than this card, and I do think there's a lot of potential bets in that card. So, I'm actually almost done with tape for that card. So, let's get it. Later, guys. Good luck on Saturday.
Later.
Team Till. You heard it here first. Team Till.